Golden Radio Hour.
The Adventures of Sam Spade, Detective.
To Thelma Darling.
Last name, Sam?
Roger.
Thelma Roger.
Darling!
I only asked, Sam.
Let's get on with it.
Yes, Sam, I'm sorry. From Samuel Spade, license number 1375596. Subject?
Subject, the Quarter Eagle caper. Dear Thelma Darling.
Sam,
Yes, Eph?
isn't that redundant?
Again?
The salutation, Sam. Shouldn't it be Dear Thelma or Thelma Darling, but not both?
Now, get this, Eph. It's real deep. Her name is Thelma Darling.
I have that, dear. Thelma Roger.
Darling, it's a name. Her father was a darling before her.
Oh, really, Sam? Can't you take a joke?
On the egg type, you should taste the label, grade AA, fresh. Dear Thelma Darling, I'm stubborn. Not all of this will be news to you. The part that is will be bad news. The start of it was not a quarter eagle, but a bald eagle. He swooped in through the door of my office, landed in front of my desk, perched on the edge of a chair, and said...
My name is Eagle, Mr. Spade. Junius J. Eagle. My card.
Uh-huh. Eagle Vending Machine Company. Huh?
They call me the Gumball King. I'm proud of it. Care to join me in a ball, sir?
Not while I'm on duty.
Ah, that's very good. Our new avocado flavor. Yes, I've kept the Bay Area chewing for 20 years. And I will not be swerved from my purpose.
Bully.
I intend to fight them tooth and nail. Hammer and tongs. To the last ditch.
Bravo.
But I'll need help. That's why I've come to you. My competitors, Mr. Spade, are leaving no stone unturned in their contemptible campaign to drive me out of business.
Uh-huh.
Now they've resorted to outright sabotage. In short, they have hired hoodlums to destroy my gumball machines. They've already smashed 11, and they won't be content until they've demolished my entire equipment.
Sounds like a police case to me, Mr.
Well,
Eagle.
I've been to the police. No, they don't understand my problem. Gave me a lot of double talk about juvenile delinquents. Ha, my foot. Cutthroat competition.
You're sure of that?
Well, what would you think? If theft were their motive, they most certainly would steal the pennies from the machines, but what do they take? My gumballs. And why do they do that?
I'll buy it.
Oh, well, by all means. Oh, here, try this. It's our bestseller in Chinatown. We call it Subgum.
Better not. I have to drive later.
No, you don't. Now, I had the foresight to buy up a 3-year supply of chewing gum at non-inflation prices.
So I see.
Well, you can see with what thoroughness they encompass my ruination. They are not only smashing my machines, they're making off with my gum.
And you want me to try and stop them?
No, I do not. No. I want you to catch them in the act and find out who is paying them.
Well, okay, Mr. Eagle. I'll see what I can do.
Good. Good. Now, in this envelope is a list of my machines and their exact locations, together with a check for your retainer.
Thank you, Mr. Eagle. I'll keep in touch with you. Mr. Eagle, I meant to ask you, how many of these gum machines do you operate here in town?
300.
Mm-hmm.
And guard them well.
300? 300 nuts.
300 nuts, Sam?
No, 300 gums. Gumball machines.
Sam,
Hmm?
Sam, isn't it wonderful you took this job? I mean, because of my penny card.
Hmm? I'm sorry if I wasn't listening.
My penny card, Sam. My new one, that is. I've already completed my Lincoln series, and now I'm collecting Indian heads.
Scalps?
No, Sam, pennies. You see, this is the card. And these little slots you see right there, that's where you put the pennies. And they're classified according to the date and the mint where they're manufactured. Now, you see, Sam, see where the little S is on these? Now, that's for the San Francisco mint. And the D, that's for Denver.
Figures.
And the ones with nothing, that's for Washington, D.C.
Yeah, well, it's a very nice hobby. Pardon me. 300 gumball machines.
You see, that's what I had in mind, Sam. All those pennies. Indian head pennies are scarce, Sam. You have to go through a lot of pennies to find even one. Honestly, sometimes when I go past one of those penny machines, that's all I can do. Oh.
F, this is all right between you and me, but don't ever mention your hobby to Mr. Eagle.
No, I won't.
Riddle me this, sweetheart. How does one detective guard 300 gumball machines scattered all over the city?
Well, if they're going to smash all of them, you could just pick out one in the middle and somewhere and wait.
No good. If it's an organized plan of sabotage, there might be some pattern. You seem to have given this some thought, though, Effie. How would you pick them?
In the busy places where they'd have more pennies.
But they're not after the pennies. They take the gum.
Well, then maybe the quiet sections where they don't sell much gum.
Well, they've knocked over 11 so far, here, there, and everywhere. Busy spots, dead spots. No pattern at all. You know, Effie, maybe I've bitten off more than I can chew. I wasn't sold on Mr. Eagle's theory that the caper was organized sabotage, but I decided to test it out anyway. I learned the operation did follow a pattern, unless it was coincidence that the 11 machines knocked over the previous night were the same 11 machines that had been refilled that afternoon. I checked with the Eagle Company's maintenance man and learned that only 5 had been refilled today. I picked the one that looked like the easiest to knock over. It was the one in the doorway of a darkened loft building near the Siemens Hiring Hall on Drum Street. At 9 in the p.m., I strolled down there. The block was deserted. I took a plant in the adjacent doorway and talked to myself until just before midnight. Then I shut up. My heart skipped a beat as she passed under the light. Red hair. My secretary? Then I noticed how she was dressed. Not on the salary I pay her. She paused before the gum machine, opened a large handbag, stripped off her long black gloves, dropped them in her purse, and took out a small Boy Scout-type hatchet. She went at it with the enthusiasm of Carrie Nation busting up a saloon. I edged around the doorway as she bent over the mess of pennies and gumballs at her feet. When she reached out her hand, I took one more step, and that was all. She was up on her feet, facing me, and I saw that hatchet sailing through the air straight at me. Hey!
Now see what you've done.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I won't let it happen again, I hope.
Well, don't just stand there. Let's get out of here. That noise, it'll bring the police down on us.
Yeah, you're right. No, not that way. The alley. And that's how I met you, Thelma, darling. Pausing only to pick up an Indian head penny for luck, I escorted you through the alley to Washington, up Washington to Salon, jogged through Front Street, and followed that to Market, where we entered the Happy Hour Bar and Grill by way of the kitchen. You proceeded unfalteringly to the darkest booth. We sat down and caught our breath. You ordered a pirate's dream. By the way, I did get that recipe. Lime juice, grenadine, passion fruit, a sprig of mint, and 6 jiggers of rum. After 2 swallows, I heard myself saying, now aren't you ashamed of yourself?
But, Sam, why should I be? After what I've been through, I think I deserve a drink.
I didn't mean that. I meant throwing that hatchet at me.
I thought you were Merle.
Who's Merle?
Why, he works for Mr. Chislehurst.
Yeah, that figures. Now tell me who Mr. Chislehurst is. Not who he works for, just who he is.
He was acting as my agent for the sale of the pearl.
Well, Natch. Look, please, don't make me say what pearl.
It's called the Black Pearl of Galila Bay. My brother brought it back from the South Pacific when he was in the war.
Oh, yes.
When he went to prison, he gave it to me to keep for him.
Uh-huh. So you decided to sell it?
I had no choice. I needed the money desperately to finance his appeal. It comes up next week.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't get that pearl back, I don't know what I'll do. You've got to help me.
What makes you think it's in a gumball machine?
Mr. Chislehurst took the pearl to show to a man named Junius Eagle, and that's when it disappeared. Mr. Eagle decided not to buy. And when Mr. Chislehurst returned to the hotel...
Eagle had found the pearl and substituted a ball of blackjack gum. Then what?
Mr. Chislehurst had Merle follow him. Nothing happened the first 2 days. But day before yesterday, he followed him to his warehouse and saw him drop a single ball of gum into a barrel of them that was waiting to be loaded onto a truck. The pearl must have been hidden in it. Why else would he do a thing like that?
Uh-huh. He would put a valuable pearl in a machine where anybody could buy it for a penny.
I suppose it'd be safe for a few days. I don't know how these machines work. Well, now you know why I had to break those machines.
Nuh-uh.
You don't believe me?
Mm-mm.
Well, what are you going to do?
Check the psycho wards and find out which one you escaped from.
Hello?
Mr. Eagle?
Speaking.
Spade.
Oh, yeah, I just got in. I've been out making my monthly collection.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I want to talk to you. You're falling down on my job. Another of my machines.
Yeah, I know. Drum Street. I nailed the hoodlum.
Ah. Who's he working for?
Let me ask you one. Did a man named Chiselhurst ever try to sell you a black pearl? Hello, you still on the line? You stopped chewing.
Yes. I think you better come over to my house. Right away.
Hello. Hello. Nuts. When I came out of the phone booth, I wasn't surprised to find that you had flown the coop, darling, if I may call you by your last name. But I was surprised at what I found at my client's house. I rang the front doorbell and waited. Nothing happened. Then, through the glass door, I saw a man rush out on the landing at the top of the stairs. He half ran, half stumbled down the long flight to the entrance hall, yanked open the door, and tried to shove past me. I grabbed him.
Get out of my way.
Wait a minute.
Let go. I gotta get a doctor.
You're bleeding.
No, not me. I've got to get a doctor.
Why don't you phone?
They ripped the wires out. Now let go, or it'll be your fault if he dies.
I memorized his mug, lifted his wallet as we unclinched, and let him go. On the way upstairs, I checked his ID cards. Higgins, Morris L., employer, Eagle Vending Machine Company, occupation, maintenance supervisor. On the floor of a room at the top of the stairs was quite a sight. The floor of the room was covered almost completely with pennies. In the middle of it, sprawled forward like a miser who had been attacked while counting his hoard, was Junius J. Eagle. The wound in the back of his neck could have been caused by a small hatchet. There was a bookkeeper's account sheet open across the desk, and scrawled across the neat rows of figures there were 3 words: Spade, Quarter, and Eagle.
The United States Armed Forces Radio Service is presenting the weekly adventure of Dashiell Hammett's famous private detective, Sam Spade. And now, back to the Quarter Eagle Caper. Tonight's adventure with Sam Spade.
That you, Higgins?
Yeah.
Save yourself the trip upstairs. There's nothing you can do for him.
Oh, dead, huh?
Yeah.
Well, I guess he won't need that doctor I called.
We can use one anyway. Did you tell the doc Eagle had been stabbed?
Yeah, sure I did.
Yeah, well, that means the law will come with him or ahead of him.
But I don't get it. He must have been killed for the money, but why didn't they take the pennies?
They should have. It'd look better for you if they had.
You're that detective he hired, huh?
That's right. Now, look, Higgins, we haven't got much time. If you want to find out who killed your boss, spill everything you know to me now, before the cops get here. Because they're going to hold you, and they'll hold me, too, if they find me here.
But I don't know a thing, Spade. I just found him like that.
How did you get in the house?
I have a key. He gave me one, so when I came here to pick up the pennies, he wouldn't have to come all the way down to let me in.
For now, tell the cops the door was open. Did he always collect the pennies from the machines himself?
Yeah. He was a coin collector as a hobby. He liked to go through them and save out the odd ones.
You always pick up the money at 1 in the a.m.?
Oh, no. No, he called me tonight a little past midnight, and he asked me to come right over. Hey, look, you got to believe that.
I do. He said the same thing to me. What do you know about a man named Chiselhurst?
Hey, wait a minute. That's the name of the guy that ran into my truck yesterday coming down the California incline near Grant. He slammed right into the rear of my truck. I tangled with his chauffeur, some punk kid.
Named Merle?
Yes, that's what they called him. And there was a dame in the car, too, a redhead.
Any report on the accident?
No, the cop took it down on the beat there. There wasn't no damage.
Sounds like we haven't got much more time here.
Oh.
What exactly happened the night the first gum machine on your route was smashed up? Come on.
Well, first off, I went to a bowling alley on Turk Street and removed our machine there. It was discontinued.
Wait a minute. Where did you take it? Back to the shop?
Oh, wait a second. I got it here in my book.
Come on.
All right, I'm hurrying. Here it is, 11864.
Mm-hmm.
No, I exchanged it for an out of order down on Drum Street.
Did you leave the pennies in it?
Oh, sure. They only get collected once a month.
How much gum was in it?
About half full. I didn't refill it until today.
Yeah. What's your system on the refill operation?
Well, I carry about 4 extra machines in the truck. When I go to fill a machine, I take one of the extras already filled out of the truck and trade for the empty.
Yeah.
Then I fill the empty one in the truck, and that saves me from carrying the bag around. Now, is there anything else I can tell you?
Yeah.
Huh?
Does Quarter Eagle mean anything to you?
No.
Okay, now where's the back door?
Out here.
That Quarter Eagle. What was it? Was it a wrestling hole like the Half Nelson? I thought of asking Effie, but I was afraid she'd know. I was sure that if I could find Chiselhurst, I could get all the answers at once. That collision between his car and the rear end of Higgins' truck was a good lead in more ways than one. It meant that at least part of your story, darling, was true. But you neglected to tell me that you, Chiselhurst, and Merle had been tailing Higgins' appointed rounds of the gumball machines. I checked the police report on the accident. The car was registered in Great Britain. The report said transient, no local address, and so to bed. I dreamed it was next Thanksgiving, and I was eating a roast of quarter eagle. Then it turned into crow.
Good morning, sir. Do you wish to place a classified ad?
Good morning to you, madam. Indeed, I do.
Kindly write it on this blank.
Kindly read it off this blank.
Well, Quarter Eagle. Interested parties apply Sam Spade. Sutter 37596.
That's right.
That's 9 words, sir. I'll have to charge you for 3 lines anyway. Is there anything you'd like to add?
Yes, but it's not fit to print. Barney's Beanery.
Mr. Spade?
Yeah.
You got it for sale, the Quarter Eagle?
Who's speaking?
I am speaking. Sergei Zacharias.
Zacharias.
You are numismatist?
No, this is Mr. Spade himself. Look, I'd like to talk to you personally. Where can I reach you?
Oh, I am by my shop, 2 doors from Belvedere Coffee Shop on O'Farrell Street.
Okay, Mr. Zacharias, I'll be right over.
Talk to you.
Why didn't you do more talking last night? My client might be alive if you had.
Oh, it's terrible. But how could I have known?
You knew about the Quarter Eagle. Why did you spin that yarn about the pearl?
How did you find out about it?
Dead men sometimes do tell tales.
Surely you don't think that I had anything to do with that?
He was only hacked to death with a hatchet like the one you threw at me. That makes you look fine.
All right, I killed him, if that'll make you listen to me. Sam, don't go into that shop.
Please,
it's
a
a
new
trap.
suit.
You don't know that man Zacharias. He's the cause of all our troubles.
You mean he sold you that hatchet?
Sam, please!
Quit clawing me. Let go.
I won't allow you to go in there. I won't.
Wait a minute. What's going on here? What's the occasion of the squabble? Oh, well, no, it's Mr. Spade.
Yeah, Clancy, this dame here just tried to pick my pocket.
Ah, pickpocket, is it? Glory be, and such a pretty one, too.
Never mind that, Clancy. Just have it locked up. I'll be down later to preferred charges.
There, come on.
Hello? Anybody home?
Okay, Shums. Just keep on walking. Straight through the back room. One move and I rip you wide open.
Yeah, you better not, Merle. Your boss might not like that.
Smart guy. Knows everybody's name.
Ah, my dear sir. A most propitious meeting. You've brought the Quarter Eagle?
Where's Zacharias?
He's resting at the moment in yonder closet. Oh, no, not dead. Merely under restraint. Bound and gagged. A necessary precaution. Well, shall we talk turkey, or rather, eagle?
Tell your punk to take that knife out of my ribs.
Who's a punk?
Now, Merle. There's been quite enough violence.
Check. I think I'll take that knife. Leave it there. Now sit down.
Merle. Oh, headstrong boy. Now, as to the Quarter Eagle. I'm willing to pay a reasonable reward for its recovery. But first I must tell you that Miss Darling, for whom I'm acting as agent for the sale of the coin, is indeed the legal owner, despite anything Mr. Zacharias may have told you to the contrary. What would you say to $500?
I would say no dice.
1,000?
I would say I'm still listening.
Sir, you seem to exaggerate the value of that tiny gold piece.
It was worth one human life to somebody. That sounds like more than $1,000 to me.
You may find the market valuation of that particular mintage of the Quarter Eagle in my coin catalog, $10,000. But, sir, that valuation is based upon the mistaken belief that there were only 2 in existence. It was while rummaging in her grandmother's attic that Miss Darling came upon a third. When she brought it to me, I could scarcely credit it. It was matter of official record that 2 specimens had been stamped out when the die broke. And then it came to me. There must have been a third. Namely, the coin which was in that rude stamping press when the die broke. Closer examination of the Quarter Eagle, now in your possession, revealed certain markings.
Yeah.
Some defective feathers in the war bonnet on the obverse. And a cleavage in the numeral 4 of the date, 1841.
Yeah, all right. So how much is it worth?
Well, as I say, the price last paid was $10,000. I think we may safely assume it would bring several times that amount in today's market. But only, mind you, if but 2 specimens, not 3, are in existence.
So you decided it would be more profitable to clam up about it and see what the owners of the other 2 coins would pay to keep this one off the market.
Precisely, sir.
How did it get in that gum machine?
therein lies a tale.
Keep it short, will you? I'm getting hungry.
Well, sir, I brought the quarter eagle for Mr. Zacharias.
Yeah.
Who was acting as agent for the owner of the other 2 coins. An Australian sheep herder, I believe. Retired now.
Yes, I'm glad.
Well, not to put too fine a point on it, Mr. Zacharias' offer was so poor that I took umbrage.
Oh, you didn't?
I gave him a caning and left the premises.
Really?
But I'd gone no farther than half a league up Turk Street when I became aware that 2 ruffians were skulking at my heels.
No.
Sent, I had no doubt, by Mr. Zacharias to rob me of the quarter eagle.
Egad, sir.
Precisely. Knowing full well that they would not dare to strike in a populous, well-lighted resort,
yes.
I entered a bowling alley at the corner of Hyde Street. No pun intended.
Thank you for that, sir.
But there upon the wall I spied a penny vending machine, and the word eagle caught my eye. Association of ideas, no doubt.
No doubt.
But that, sir, is how I came to put the quarter eagle into Mr. Eagle's gum machine.
Yes, I think I can take it from there. When you went back, the machine had been taken out by the Eagle Company's maintenance man, right?
Not quite. I caught him in the very act of removing the machine and followed him out of the building.
Yeah, but then you lost track of the machine. I found out why. Never mind that now. What I want to know is who followed Mr. Eagle home the night he was killed?
I'd rather not say.
Then all bids are off.
One moment, Mr. Spade.
Yeah?
Am I to infer that your price for the quarter eagle necessarily includes bringing the murderer to justice?
Just that, Mr. Chislehurst.
Well, I suppose there's nothing for it but to make the supreme sacrifice. Merle.
Me? You double-crossing pig?
Now, Merle, you know perfectly well you did away with poor Mr. Eagle.
Shut up. I'll cut you to pieces.
Gross insubordination. You deliberately exceeded your instructions. I wanted you to apply only sufficient violence to recover the coin. Instead, you seized the opportunity to satisfy your nauseating bloodlust. Really, Merle?
Cut you to pieces. I'll cut you to pieces.
Spade, help me.
All right, drop the shiv, Merle. Knife-happy punk.
Egad, that was a near thing, sir. The base ingratitude of that boy. Oh, well, what's done is done. When may I expect delivery of the quarter eagle?
I didn't answer him. To cover my embarrassment, I gagged him, manacled him to Merle, and delivered the package marked 1 murderer, 1 accessory to the dumbfounded minions of the law. And that, Thelma, darling, I regret to inform you, is still the crop. After I'd sprung you from the pokey, I got hold of Higgins, and we went through every coin out of every Eagle gumball machine in the city of San Francisco. It couldn't happen, but it did. Your quarter eagle is, shall we say, no place. Period. End of report.
Sam, I'm disappointed in you.
Well, so am I, sweetheart.
But I'll forgive you if you found even 1 Indian head penny from my penny card.
Yeah, just 1 from that machine on Drum Street.
Oh, Sam.
There you are, sweetheart.
Oh, thank you. And it's an old one.
And no older than I feel. Go type that up.
Sam, this money is counterfeit.
Are you sure?
It's joke money. It says $2.50. You see where it should say 1 cent? $2.50.
Let me see that. $2.50. If an eagle is a $10 gold piece, what is a $2.50 gold piece?
Oh, now, let me see. $5 would be half. Sam.
Right. A quarter eagle. Yep, that's just dirt on it, see? It's gold, really.
Oh, look at it shine.
Like the stars in your eyes, sweetheart.
Oh, you darling. Good night, Sam.
Good night, sweetheart.
The Adventures of Sam Spade, Dashiell Hammett's famous private detective, are produced and directed by William Spear. Sam Spade is played by Howard Duff. Lorene Tuttle is Effie.
This is the United States Armed Forces Radio Service, the voice of information and education.
The Adventures of Sam Spade, Detective.
Very funny. Certainly took you long enough.
Oh, thank you, Sam. Well, do you like them? My curls?
I guess so. It's your own hair, I trust.
Oh, yes, Sam. When it's brushed out, you'll never know anything happened.
Whenever you're ready, Curly.
Oh, gee, you like it that well?
Yeah, very cute.
Well.
It's a business. To Detective Lieutenant Dundee, Homicide Detail, San Francisco Police, from Samuel Spade, license number 137-596, subject, the Bouncing Betty Caper. Dear Dundee. It all began on a Wednesday. My secretary, Miss Effie Perrine, tiptoed into my office and laid an engraved calling card on the desk in front of me. The name on it was Randall Carruthers. She said he looked like money, so I said, show her in. Or him in. She did.
Good morning, sir. Do you wish the morning paper?
Thanks. I've read it.
Dear me.
What's the matter?
This ashtray, sir. Have you a silent butler?
I don't even have a noisy one.
Oh. In all my years of service, it has been my constant endeavor to keep things neat and tidy, down to the smallest detail.
I see. Well, if it bothers you, just dump those butts into the wastebasket.
Very well, sir. If you will pardon the presumption, sir, you could use a well-trained servant in this establishment. Wastepaper baskets clean and empty at all times. Never allow refuse to accumulate.
That's not refuse. That's this month's bills.
So I noticed, sir. I also noticed that you have not opened them. From this, I conclude that your services are immediately available.
Yeah, and I conclude that in spite of your glad rags and fancy handle, you are somebody's butler.
Oh, that is correct, sir. I am first butler in the household of Dr. Mark McGraw.
First?
Yes. Bleak Cliff is the name of the estate. It's near the village of Squid Beach, some 50 miles in a southerly direction on the Pacific coast.
You know, I think I'm going to like you as a client, Mr. Carruthers. I mean, it's refreshing to get a few accurate facts without, shall we say, priming the pump.
Oh, thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
To continue, not counting the staff, there reside at Bleak Cliff 3 persons. Dr. McGraw, master of the house since the death of his wife, his stepson, Mr. Anthony McGraw, of whom more later, and Mr. Anthony's sister, Miss Cathy. It is on her behalf that I've come to you, sir.
What is her problem, Mr. Carruthers?
The correct form of address is Carruthers, sir, not Mr. Carruthers.
Check.
Yes, thank you, sir. Now, as to Miss Cathy's problem, sir, someone is attempting to murder her. Specifically, she has upon several occasions been shot at from ambush. Twice she has awakened in the night to feel the hands of an assailant closing about her throat. And only yesterday, she narrowly escaped death when her motor car went out of control owing to some blackguard tampering with the steering mechanism. And upon numerous other occasions...
That's enough. You have convinced me that she indeed has a problem. What do the local police think?
No one has been to the police, sir.
Why not?
It's a delicate situation, sir. Miss Cathy's brother, Mr. Tony, is undergoing treatment for... nervous disorder, sir.
Mm-hmm.
The family did not wish to place him in an institution, and since Dr. McGraw, his stepfather, is a psychiatrist, he is allowed to remain at home.
I see. He's flipped, huh? Where do I fit in, Carruthers?
Well, sir, if a reputable gentleman such as yourself were to come to Bleak Cliff and witness these persistent attempts upon that girl's life, perhaps they could be forced to put the boy away where he belongs.
It's possible. I'm willing to try. For money.
Oh, splendid, sir, splendid. I took the liberty of drawing, in your favor, a draft upon the First National Bank of Squid Bay, 1 week's remuneration in advance of your services to the Bleak Cliff estate in the capacity of chauffeur.
Chauffeur?
Yes, sir. I thought that might be a capital disguise. Have you a better suggestion, sir?
Well, no, that's okay. This check.
Yes, sir.
$200. It's a pretty big weekly salary for a chauffeur, isn't it?
Well, you will be allowed to shop for the vegetables, sir. Your cut has been added in.
I told him I didn't know one vegetable from another, that I was a lousy driver, and in more time than it takes to tell, I was installed at Bleak Cliff, in a room above the garage, and told to wait there until summoned. I put on my pearl gray uniform with the brass buttons and leather puttees, looked in the mirror, and decided I had missed my calling, but not by much. Nothing happened for nearly an hour, and then I got my first buzz. Yeah, I mean, garage.
Phillips, the car, quickly. The main entrance. Keep your motor running. I have him locked in the living room, but he's breaking out.
Okay. Yes, miss. Let me see.
Get that door open. Open that door. Why didn't you have the door open?
I'm sorry, miss.
Well, get going, please.
Darn it, miss. Where's the spark on this?
What's the matter with it?
Well, it's flooded. The house, you know.
He's got the meat cleaver again. Can't you get this started?
Well, I'm trying.
Get out, I tell you! Get out! Stop it! You're hurting him. No!
Fine. All right. Put it down, kid. Put it down. Come on. Give it to me.
What's going on?
Don't.
I say, who are you? Haven't you been instructed not to disturb my patient?
I'm sorry. I'm new here. When I saw him coming at Miss McGraw with that meat cleaver, I naturally thought
Oh, well, no harm done. Come along, Tony. Come along now. Come along, boy. We'll have a nice long talk.
What shall I do with this now?
We'll put it back.
You all right?
Oh, sure. I should be used to it by now. By the way, you're new here, aren't you? What's your name?
Sam.
Sam? That's nice. Turn to the left outside the gate, Sam, and drive straight out to the shore road.
Well, if I can just... Hey, I just turned that little key. Look, Ma, I'm driving. I adjusted the rear view mirror so that it showed more of her and less of the rear view. A mile from the house, she ordered me to stop, moved up to the front seat with me, and asked me to drive on. By the time we got to the shore road, she was driving, and I was resting my head on her shoulder. Where are we going?
I've got a little hideaway down the coast. It's right on the beach, at the foot of a tall cliff. There's a fireplace, a little bar, some records.
Got some bop?
It's wonderful there with the surf pounding outside, hidden away from the world. You feel so safe.
Don't stop.
You'll like it there. You feel as if there's no one else on earth. Time standing still.
Oh, if I could just be sure that Mother wouldn't worry about me.
You're impossible.
Okay, Kathy, I'll be serious. What's with that brother of yours?
Tony? I'd rather not talk about that if you don't mind.
Well, maybe I can talk about your stepfather. I really should know what kind of a man my boss is.
I go for these drives to forget all that. Please don't spoil it for me.
Okay, Kathy, okay.
Please. The sharp turn into this driveway. Now, we get out here.
Yes, ma'am.
Down this path.
Uh-oh.
What's the matter? You afraid of high places?
Yeah, you just pushed me off of one.
Oh, Sam, don't be like that. You're pouting like a little boy. Come on, I want to show you my little house.
What's so special about your little house?
Oh, Sam, if you only knew what my life is like.
You only knew what mine is like.
I need someone so much to talk to, Sam.
As long as you can steer the conversation, you mean.
Come on, Sam. I'll show you the house.
The path led to a flight of wooden steps that clung to the face of a sheer cliff. There was something like the stairs you find yourself falling down in nightmares. They dropped maybe 200 feet to a crescent of white sand.
Watch out for that one step. It's broken.
Yeah. You have to make your dream house this hard to get to?
Because of Tony. He has vertigo.
What?
When we were kids, he used to chase me, and I'd run down here, and he was scared to follow me. Afraid of heights. He still is.
Oh.
Well, you light us a fire, Sam. The wood's there in the box. I'll go make us a drink.
Fire? Who needs a fire? I'm hot.
What'd you do before you took up driving?
Oh, I was a private eye for a while.
Oh, how exciting.
Nah, it's a sour racket.
Tell me about it.
Nah. Let's talk about you.
Here's your drink.
Thanks.
Well, what do you want to know about me?
Oh, me? Come here. The scent she was wearing was 20 carat, but the story of her life was heavy melodrama. It seemed that Dr. McGraw, a handsome fortune hunter, was a folly of her mother's middle years. But she had come to her senses shortly before she died and cut him out of her will. But that was not the end of it. When Kathy's brother had been faced with the alternative of entering an institution or remaining at home under his stepfather's care, she had begged the doctor to remain in spite of his warnings that her brother might take a notion to kill her. But get this, Dundee, it's real deep. In spite of visible evidence to the contrary, she was convinced that her brother was not out to kill her, but that the doctor was. I couldn't sell myself on that part of the yarn, but she looked so awfully pretty while she was telling it. And suddenly, she didn't look so pretty. An expression of terror was on her face.
No!
Get down! I rolled her onto the floor and kicked the lamp out. By the glow of the embers in the fireplace, I could still see the gleam of the gun barrel shoved in through the broken window. I hoped he couldn't see so much. I knocked over a chair to give him something to shoot at. He was already halfway up the face of the cliff on those rickety wooden stairs. At the top, he turned and looked back.
Who was it? It was Mark, wasn't it?
The doctor? You know better than that. It was Tony. I thought you told me he was afraid of heights, couldn't come down those stairs.
He never did before. Don't you believe it?
Yeah, Kathy. I may wind up believing the rest of your story. I took Kathy back to Bleak Cliff and stashed her in my quarters over the garage. Then I went into the main house via the back stairs, found her room, and shook it down. In a cabinet, a bunch of war souvenirs, German helmets, grenades, rifles, and other lethal gadgets. In a desk drawer, I found a letter headed U.S. Army, Office of the Surgeon General. It certified that one Anthony McGraw was unfit for military service. Vertigo. Origin, childhood injury to middle ear. Downstairs in the library, I found a shelf of medical books. Vertigo. Vertigo was almost incurable, and there was certainly no quick cure. But some patients had lost their symptoms temporarily under hypnotism. Then it said, see narcosynthesis. I did.
Oh, Spade. I beg pardon, sir. Mr. Spade. Whatever are you doing in the butler's pantry, sir?
Looking for a butler. Namely you, Carruthers.
Oh. May I serve you, sir?
Yeah. How do I get an interview with Dr. McGraw?
Well, sir, I should... Oh. Strange, after all my years of service, I still start at the master's summons. Hey.
You did it again.
Well, I'm sorry, sir. I'd better see what Dr. McGraw wants.
Forget it. I'm answering this one.
You're not going to drop your disguise, sir.
Why not? Who am I kidding, anyway? You rang, Dr. McGraw?
Oh, I didn't ring for you. I rang for Carruthers. I ordered him to tidy up my office while I was at dinner. And look at it.
Looks neat as a pin to me, Doctor.
Oh, yeah, sure new here. Chauffeur, eh?
I'm only wearing his uniform. Here's my card.
Oh. Detective, eh?
That's right, Doctor, and this one's just about ready to wrap up.
Well, you interest me. Go on.
I will. I think you've been trying to use that boy as a murder weapon against his sister.
Oh. And you call yourself a detective?
If you can call yourself a doctor, I guess I can. You've been treating him with narcosynthesis, haven't you?
Yes, that's right.
Hypnotic drug. While he's under it, you brief him on his activities for the day, and he follows through, including assaults with deadly weapons.
That would be possible with certain very suggestible patients, but I'm afraid impossible to prove.
I think I can prove it, Doctor. You shouldn't leave your textbooks lying around loose. I found out the only way Tony could have walked down that stairway to Kathy's beach house without falling would be temporary relief of his symptoms due to hypnotic suggestion. Unquote.
I see. What do you intend to do about this theory of yours?
What do you suggest?
You see this row of buzzers here on my desk?
Mm-hmm.
This one is for my secretary. This is to summon Carruthers, and when I press this buzzer, two of the most hideous plug uglies you've ever seen will rush into this office, beat you to a pulp, and dump you outside the front gate. That's what I think of your theory.
Buzz away, Doctor. I think I like them better than I do you.
As you wish.
From where I was on the other side of the room, I didn't know what had happened at first. All I saw was a lot of paper gushing out of the wastebasket. The doctor sure was dead. His midsection was perforated like a shower drain. And in the walls, fanning out around the end of the room, about a yard up from the baseboard, there was a straight line of holes. I dug into one. What I took out wasn't a bullet. It was a perfectly round steel ball. Then I remembered the wastebasket, the paper flying out of it just before the explosion. In the bottom of it, I found the answer. The base of a steel mechanism with German lettering on it. It was a wartime anti-personnel mine that the GIs called the Bouncing Betty. The
United States Armed Forces Radio Service is presenting the weekly adventure of Dashiell Hammett's famous private detective, Sam Spade.
I didn't wait for the Squid Beach law to arrive. Who could? I went straight back to San Francisco. You, Lieutenant Dundee, were waiting at my office.
Morning, Sam.
Hello, Dundee.
About that McGraw killing, Sam.
Mm-hmm.
The chief down at Skid Beach has asked us to cooperate with the department down there at Skid Beach.
Squid Beach, Dundee.
That's right. They say you caught a bus at Skid Beach.
Squid.
That's right. At 1:45 in the company of a young woman answering the description of the McGraw girl.
They say that, do they?
They say they got a statement from that butler,
Carruthers.
Yeah, well, it's open and shut anyway. The butler hired you, the girl is wanted, and you're hiding her out. Why?
Why not?
Well, it's established that the girl hated the deceased and bickered with him constantly. The doctor and the boy were pals. That girl's guilty as...
You've been able to place her in the murder room?
Well, no, but here's an item. She worked with an Army ordnance during the war in research. Subject, I made a note of that. Enemy landmines, anti-personnel. One of the reports she helped put out was on the Bouncing Betty.
Yeah?
Definitely. Hey, where you going, Sam?
Sam, it's been so lonesome cooped up here all day.
Why didn't you tell me you were with Army ordnance during the war?
I don't know. I suppose it thought it was unfeminine or something.
Try again.
All right, I'll tell you the truth. I had a copy of that report with instructions for the operation of the Bouncing Betty in the desk in my room.
What the devil are you doing with a thing like that?
I don't know. I was proud of it. It was the only report I worked on with the general.
Should have got rid of it.
I did. I burned it in the fireplace as soon as I learned what had killed him.
You didn't burn it good enough.
Sam, they found it.
Yeah.
Have they arrested Tony?
Not yet, but he's definitely sane. He'll have to take the rap for anything he's done.
I see. Well, I guess there's no other way. Tony didn't do it, Sam. I did. I want to make a confession.
Not to me, please. Not to me.
After what happened down at the beach when I knew I was no longer safe anywhere, I realized I had to do it. For Tony's sake as well as mine. When we arrived back at the house, I looked into the dining room and I saw Dr. McGraw eating dinner. I knew it was my chance to get into his office.
Yeah? Then what?
Well, the Bouncing Betty was in my room. There was some wire in the tool chest, and I knew that Carruthers always went to tidy up while the doctor was at dinner. So I waited until I saw him come out, and then I went in. And I looked around for a place to plant it, out of sight. Then I saw the wastebasket full of paper. It was the perfect hiding place. The whole thing didn't take more than 5 minutes. Well, say something. Go on, say you hate me. Say it.
I don't. Wish I did.
Oh, Sam. Help me. Help me.
I'm sorry, baby. I am sorry. I don't know how long we sat there. I held her in my arms until she cried herself out, then we just looked at each other. I knew if I put it off another minute, I wouldn't call you at all, Dundee. So, with my arms still around her, I reached for the phone.
Homicide.
Lieutenant Dundee, this is Sam Spade.
Lieutenant Dundee. Hello? Hello?
Give me that. Lieutenant, this is Catherine McGraw. I wish to make a full confession in the murder of my stepfather.
I walked out while she was still talking to you, Dundee. I knew she'd wait for you, and I didn't want to be there when you took her away. As I walked over to my office, everything she'd said kept coming back to me. I could see her sneaking into her brother's room and getting a contraption out of the cabinet. I could see her hiding behind the door until Carruthers came out after tidying up McGraw's office, dumping ashtrays, emptying waste baskets. And that's as far as I got. I went back to my office to wait. And sure enough, 20 minutes after the papers hit the streets with Kathy's confession, the door opened and he came in.
Well, sir, I believe it's turning a bit raw out of doors. Gardner was saying only this morning that we should order out some shrouds for the Sappy Glow to see you after. Am I discommoding you, sir?
No, Carruthers, I've been waiting for you.
With your permission, sir. The ashtray.
Just dump it in the wastebasket.
Well, I am gratified to note that your secretary has been looking after things and has emptied your waste paper basket. This is right and proper.
Quite.
Yes, sir. And, speaking of waste paper baskets...
Allow me, Carruthers. You have come to apprise me of your part in the death of the late Dr. McGraw. Am I in error?
You've already divined my purpose, sir. Yes, it was I who placed that infernal machine.
In the wastebasket, Carruthers, yes, I know.
It struck me as a bit of poetic justice that the buzzer, which that dreadful man used as a symbol of his despotism, should be the instrument of his own destruction.
I'm sorry, Carruthers. I'll do all I can.
No need, sir. No need. I'm aware that there is no final justification for taking the law into one's own hands. Every man is entitled to trial by jury of his peers. But where, Mr. Spade, where could be found 12 good men and true who would allow themselves to be called the peer of that monster, Dr. McGraw?
Period. End of report.
Sam, there must be some mistake.
Mistake, Effie? Mistake?
Well, the butler can't be guilty. That's old-fashioned.
He was an old-fashioned butler, sweetheart. Where today can you get help like that? Somebody who empties the ashtrays, keeps the waste paper baskets clean, tidies up around the place.
Well, I'd be only too happy to do the same for you, Sam.
I know you would, Doc.
Considering what happened to Mr. Carruthers' employer,
Effie, you mustn't allow your mind to dwell on such matters. It's wicked.
Sam! Who emptied an ashtray in that wastebasket that I just finished cleaning out?
Pay it no heed, sweetheart. I'll buy you a silent butler. I'll go type that up.
Here it is, Sam. I hope I haven't made any mistakes. I'm in such a hurry.
Whatever did you do to your hair?
Well, I brushed it out, Sam.
What happened to the pin curls?
I told you, Sam, when it was brushed out, it wouldn't be noticeable.
Hours of torture sitting under a hot dryer for something nobody will notice.
But, Sam, it puts bounce in your whole makeup.
I get it. The bouncing Effie caper.
Oh.
Eyeshadow, new shade of lipstick. You look real gone.
Oh, no.
Whom is it tonight?
Well, it's this friend of Maud, Sam. Of course, she's not really serious about him, so it's all right.
Your conscience bothering you?
Oh, no, Sam, no. He's definitely not serious about her. I mean,
Well, have fun, sweetheart, while Maud burns.
Oh, well, she won't. And I suppose you'll be seeing that girl, what's her name? Oh, yes, Kathy.
Well, at least, F, I'm not playing in someone else's garden.
No. Well, have fun anyway. Good night, Sam.
Good night, sweetheart.
The Adventures of Sam Spade, Dashiell Hammett's famous private detective, are produced and directed by William Spear. Sam Spade is played by Howard Dove. Lorene Tuttle is Effie.
The Adventures of Sam Spade, Private Detective, is a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio Service, the voice of information and education.
Thank you for listening. Please like and subscribe.